Just as a disclaimer, we want you to know that some of the movies that we will be reviewing were shot in a different time and era where people of race and sex were not treated equally. We understand this and hope you do too. The movies or anything that happened on the sets are not the views of this podcast or what this show is intended to be all about.
Exactly. And we want to give due diligence in presenting the movie and not the views of the cast or directors or anyone involved. But we also feel it's necessary to let the audience know some of the background information to get a feel for what was happening at the time of shooting the film. Again, we hope you understand that we do not agree with everything that went on, and we just want to give out the information. And with that being said, hope you enjoy the show.
Nightmares. He can see them. In his mind, he can hear them.
Locutus.
In his soul, he can feel them.
I've just received a report from Deep Space 5. Long-range sensors have picked up...
Yes, I know. The Borg. Set a course for Earth. Maximum warp.
Now, in Earth's darkest hour, he must fight them again.
Captain, Earth. Life signs?
Population approximately 9 billion. All Borg.
How?
Time travel. They went back and assimilated Earth. Changed history. I must follow them back. Repair whatever damage they've done.
But this time, they must travel to the past.
April 4th, 2063.
To save our future.
You're all astronauts on some kind of Star Trek.
They invade our space, and we fall back. They assimilate entire worlds, and we fall back. Not again. The line must be drawn here.
It looks like the control deck's 26 up to 11.
Mr. Data and I are returning to the ship. Don't let them touch you!
Captain!
Data!
We must activate the auto-destruct sequence.
You want to destroy the ship and run away, you coward.
If you were any other man, I would kill you where you stand.
Let's rock and roll!
Destroy them. Watch your futures end.
Our shields and our weapons are gone.
Resistance is futile. Perhaps today is a good day to die.
John, look, blow up the damn ship!
No! We are not going to lose the Enterprise. Not to the Borg, not while I'm in command.
Star Trek. First Contact.
All right, guys, we're back once again this week with episode 27, Star Trek First Contact. I'm your host, Jimbo.
And I'm Terrence.
Terrence. Yeah, I know. Correct. Terrence is actually awake for 2 days this week. This has been a fan pick for, 3 months.
Yeah.
We finally got around. We were trying to hold off until we had one of our Trekkie friends here. I like Star Trek. I'm not going to say I'm a Trekkie. I've seen a lot of them, but I haven't seen all of them.
Yeah.
And I know this was your first experience watching probably almost any of the older stuff, right?
Yep, for any of the older stuff.
Because you like the newer stuff. So this will be for Patricia McCauley. She is one of our first fans out of Australia. She is also the lady who you'll hear in an interview that I'm going to put in at the end of this, that takes a speaker into work and plays the podcast for people at work. So I know Julian and some of the other people there.
Yeah, we gave a shout out to him
right.
Some episodes back, 10 episodes ago.
Like I said, a long time ago. But this is actually their episode, you know what I mean? So I wanted to make sure that in our interview, you'll hear I let her pick if she had her own starship, to name the people that she works with, who she would have like as first officer, who would be the
nice.
doctor. I said, and I said, well, is there anybody else? She's like, well, I don't really. I said, well, they could be red shirts, and she's like, there's no red shirts on my ship. So, all right, Patricia, I hope we do you justice, do this movie justice for you. So, hang tight. We're getting ready to start, but first, Terrence.
The question.
The question. I wasn't going to let you get away with it. Now, I know you're not much of a Trekkie, and I know you haven't really seen a lot, but which character from Star Trek would you like to be?
Oh, which character would I like to be?
Not just from this. I mean, if there's something from the newer stuff, because a lot of our listeners will know more than you will, obviously.
Actually, so of all the characters, I really liked Riker.
Number one?
Yeah, the number one. Picard's
Did you know
first
that
mate.
he directed this?
That I didn't know.
Yeah. He's like one of the only Star Trek actors to direct a movie.
Oh, wow.
There's
okay.
I think there's one other one that's done it. So, what you should see right there in your
actually,
Jonathan Frakes. Yeah, that's
okay.
Riker.
I don't know any of the besides for like Patrick Stewart and that's the only like name that I know like for sure.
That's
exactly.
because of other stuff that they've done.
Exactly.
Most of this other cast is known for this movie. I mean, you'll know like Data, Brett Spiner. He was in Independence Day. Remember?
That's right.
Yeah, in Area 51. So, so who would you pick? You said you would pick number one.
Number one.
I don't know. I just thought it would always be cool to be Data. You know, just
Yeah.
for those of you that don't know, if you're not, you say you're not even a sci-fi fan, but this movie, I told Terrence, hey, there's 2 episodes of Star Trek: The Next Generation that you need to watch first, and then it ties into this movie. So, do you remember what they were? Was it the Best of Both Worlds, Part 1 and 2? It was like season.
Yeah, it was. Was it Best of Both Worlds? Yeah, it was Best of Both Worlds Part 1, which was the end of season 3, and then it jumped into season 4 with Part 2.
Right. So, why don't you go ahead and lay the groundwork of what the TV episodes were about before we get into the rest of this?
Oh, yeah, sure.
So that way they have a little bit of background before we dive into this.
So
movie.
I watched them back to back, so I really have no separation between the two. I just watched it all through.
But this movie takes place 6 years after those 2.
After that event.
Right.
And that's when they encountered the Borg for the second time, it seems. Because I didn't see the first time, but they do reference it a lot. They were like, last time we encountered them, we barely made it out alive. All this other stuff. So they encountered them again. But before they encounter them, they know they're coming. So they're like, all right, they're making our way. They're in, what is it? Federation space? So they're in Federation space. So they're like, we have to deal with this. And since they had encountered them, they were obviously the first go-to. And they sent over another commander, which I forgot her name, but they sent over another commander who was also gunning for Riker's job. Because they were like, well, Riker should be a captain. Like, why aren't you a captain? So they sent her over because of her study of the Borg and, how to improve defenses and stuff, which they haven't fully developed yet at all.
Yeah, even in this movie,
exactly. Even in this in the movie, they haven't. It just shows how complicated that.
For those that don't know, the Borg is an enemy that adapts to their situation. Like if you shoot them with a phaser, they adapt to that frequency. So you'd have to change your gun setting to another frequency, shoot them. Then they would adapt to that. So you can't use the same thing twice on them.
Exactly, and they're also like this, hive mind collective thought species that is consists of a bunch of different species that they've conquered, which that's why it makes them a difficult enemy, right? So in the episode, they're trying to figure out how to deal with it. They think they know how to deal with it, and then it fails, like, horribly.
It goes bad.
It goes bad, and then they get a hold of Picard, and then they turn him into a Borg because they wanted to make him the human face to basically integrate the human race easily.
And he was known as Locutus.
Locutus.
Which means, in Latin, means the spoken.
Oh, okay. So
I thought that was pretty cool.
But yeah, so they get a hold of Picard, and it's basically the crew trying to get him back, but also combat and destroy the Borg, or at least do what they can, because they're headed straight towards.
So how did you feel like at the? I know at the end of episode the season 3 where he turns and he's got
and
the stuff on it, and like the laser. You're like,
laser eye
what?
And stuff. So yeah, that was crazy. And then I was wondering how they would bring him back, because I knew he would eventually come back, but I was like, how are they going to pull this off? And so basically they were able to connect Data to the collective mind.
Right.
And then they were trying to have him send in because they get Picard back in his, Borg form. They get Locutus, right? And then so they connect him to Data, and they were like, okay, we need to figure out a way to like send a simple command through this hive mind and then have them obey that. So they're going through different commands, but he can't get through their their security basically. And then finally, like Picard, and that's what makes Picard special in this whole thing, is he's actually able to fight his Borg self, I guess you could say.
Right.
And then tell Data, giving it a simple command, which is sleep. And then so Data's like, oh, okay. So then he goes in and basically tells them to go into a regenerative state, aka putting them all to sleep.
Right.
And then that's how they stop that particular Borg attack.
Right.
Then the movie takes place 6 years later.
And we'll get into that here in a little bit.
Exactly.
Now, I'll tell you this quick story before we get into it. When I was younger, Blockbuster Video, for those that don't know, it used to be a store that you could go in and rent VHS tapes, you know what I mean?
For our younger
but in my
viewers.
local Blockbuster store, when this came out, right before this came out, they had a contest where they were selling the movie cards, you know what I mean? The cards, the packs of cards. And they had a contest that every time you bought, if you bought like a pack of cards or whatever, you got entered into this drawing.
Yeah.
So, knowing myself, I bought all the packs. So and it was only from my local Blockbuster.
Yeah.
Well, I ended up winning a Locutus statue that was about this tall, and he was in the Borg, and he was in that round thing that he's standing in, with the beams or whatever, the force field, and I won that from Blockbuster back in the day. So I was like, that's pretty cool, but I wanted it. That was the key. I wanted something. So all right, let's jump into this. We've wasted a lot of time already, but we felt it was necessary to
preface it for the two.
Make sure you try and watch those 2 television episodes before you enjoy this movie,
because you would. The last episode of season 3.
You could still enjoy this movie without seeing those, but it means so much more to you, especially in Picard's developmental of his character in this movie and Data's.
Exactly.
So
not only it also helps that, especially if you're in my seat where you've never watched any of the older Star Wars stuff, or particularly anything in
Star
Generations.
Trek,
Star Trek. So it basically helps you sort of get an idea of who all these characters are, because you get a glimpse of it, all their personalities and everything, and you also get this preface of who the Borg are before you move into the movie. So thanks to Jimbo here telling me what to watch before watching the movie. It's a great preface, and if anybody's in my seat, definitely check it out in that fashion.
All right, Terrence, let's dive into Star Trek First Contact. Let's do it.
Yes. Release date, November 22nd, 1996. Budget, $45 million, which did conversions today.
Wow, you are being really generous today, aren't you?
So, including inflation and stuff, that's $72.89 million today.
You see how much inflation just went up over 20 years, man?
It went from $45 million to $72.89 million.
It's crazy.
Like, wow. And that's just it's a 20-year difference almost,
That's it.
Opening weekend, USA, that was $30.7 million, and then with inflation to today, that's $49.76 million. Gross USA, $92 million. That would be $149.04 million. And then finally, cumulative worldwide, $150 million, which is $242.99 million.
So it did pretty well.
It did decent. Yes, absolutely. It did good.
But see, the thing about Star Trek is it's worldwide too. It's known worldwide. It's not just a United States thing. It's known throughout the world.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Trekkies unite. And so
it's actually interesting to see that it definitely had a good overall cycle, but as far as opening weekend, it didn't even break even.
Right.
Which is interesting. Now, I don't know if that was only because only the fan base was watching, and then maybe other people weren't.
Right.
Which would be my guess.
Or maybe it was just so packed that people couldn't get in there opening weekend too.
Well, I mean,
but you got to remember too. There's probably, would you say there's more or less movie theaters today? Not only that, but you can now watch movies at home the same day they come out of theaters too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
but I mean, you look at. I feel like if you look at any other like big movie release around the same time, early '90s, I'm pretty sure you'd see a movie or two double its what its budget was, because that's always the goal when a movie comes out and they hit opening weekend. Especially something big, is like, okay, can we at least double what we spend on this movie, or at least break even and go a bit over?
Right. I'm getting ready to look up the movies that opened that weekend.
Yeah,
and we'll see. Okay, so Star Trek: First Contact. Then you had Stand Back, Carnosaur 3, Primal Species. I don't think that was much. And you had Fugitive Rain that came out. So let's see what anything the previous week there was. Space Jam.
Okay,
was the previous week with Disney's 101 Dalmatians, the live action.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Jingle
that.
All the Way. The Mirror has two faces. Not sure. Alien Nation, The Enemy Within. Apollo 11. Dallas. JR Returns.
Interesting.
Right, and so Titanic. Titanic was November 17, 1996.
I feel like
that one's probably why because that held a lot of records.
Yeah.
And then the week after it, you had The Crucible. That's about the only thing that's really of any
relevance.
Right. So, The Flintstones Christmas at Bedrock came out. So
all right.
It was only 30 minutes, so all right.
A little 30-minute special. So yeah, didn't do good, didn't do great in opening weekend. Actually, by standards of box office, it didn't do well at all.
Right.
But it definitely made up for it with its, total gross, and definitely with the worldwide.
And I think with the worldwide, I think that's now including, you have people that watched this movie when they were little or kids, and now they're teaching their children, you know what I mean? So that's probably DVD sales, rentals, I would say. You know what I mean? Worldwide. So
moving on to the director, Jonathan Frakes, who, as you said before, plays William Riker. Writing credits, WGA, that's the Writers Guild of America. Gene Roddenberry for the television series Star Trek.
He created Star Trek.
Star Trek. Rick Berman helped with the story. Brandon Braga, also the story. Ronald D. Moore helped with the story. And then as far as screenplay, Brandon Braga and Ronald D. Moore. The technical specs, runtime, it's an hour and 51 minutes, 111 minutes. Sound mix, DTS, Dolby Digital, color movie. Aspect ratio, 2.39 by 1. Camera, Panavision Panaflex Platinum and Panavision C-Series lenses. Laboratory, Deluxe Hollywood, USA. Film length, 3,035 meters, Sweden, and 3,095 meters. Negative format, 35 millimeters, Eastman, EXR 100T, the 5248, and the EXR 500T 5298. Cinematographic process, Panavision anamorphic. Printed film format, 35 millimeters. And finally, my fun part, and that is the awards. So, Academy Awards. USA 1997 nominated Oscar Best Makeup, Mitchell Westmore. Now, this is the first time I think we've seen Best Makeup for a movie in awards.
But did we see one for Nightmare on Elm Street?
I don't believe so.
No,
we didn't.
Well, I mean, we didn't read all of them either, so
that's true.
But I think maybe as far as
I cut out a lot of the small.
I was going to say maybe for an Academy Award.
Yeah, exactly. For an Academy Award,
I think we've seen some for wardrobe, but I don't think we've seen any for makeup.
Right. And that's probably on the Borg aspect.
Oh, fantastic!
Yeah, absolutely. So they were also So best makeup were Mitchell Westmore, Scott Wheeler, and Jake Garber. The 2020 awards, which is in 2017, so now a couple of years ago.
I wish it would have been in 2020.
They were nominated for Best Makeup. Then, Academy of Science Fiction, Fantasy, and Horror Films, USA 1997, because of course it would be on this awards. Winner, Saturn Award, Best Supporting Actor, Brent Spiner.
You know who that was?
Do not.
That's Data.
Okay. Gotcha. I was like, I feel like everybody's like supporting actor. So,
and I'll tell you who they are as you go along. If
okay, gotcha. Yeah. Best Supporting Actress, Alice Krige.
She was the Borg Queen.
Okay, gotcha. Best Costumes, Deborah Everton. They were nominated for. So they won Best Costume in the Academy of Science Fiction, Fantasy, and Horror Films, which is awesome. Nominee, Saturn Award, Best Science Fiction Film. Best Actor, Patrick Stewart.
You know who that was?
Oh, yeah, of course.
No, it's not Charles Xavier. Jean-Luc Picard.
And Best Director, Jonathan Frakes. Best Writer, Brandon Braga. Ronald D. Moore. Best Music, Jerry Goldsmith. Best Makeup, Mitchell Westmore. Scott Wheeler.
Is it Mitchell
Jake
or Michael?
Barber. Michael. I don't know why I keep saying Mitchell. It's the, you know when you see a word.
I was going to say, you're doing pretty good.
Like
you're doing pretty good. I wasn't going to say anything. I was like,
no, you're good.
You're doing pretty good tonight, you know.
Best Special Effects, it's John Knoll and Industrial Light and Magic, which did the special effects and whatnot, right?
Yep, Lucasfilm.
Awards Circuit, Community Awards 1996. They were nominated for ACCA Best Visual Effects. So yeah, I mean, for a movie in the early 90s, pretty awesome effects, I think.
I think it did really well.
And there were definitely plenty of movies that did much
and
worse.
especially
because
the way the Borg looked was pretty good.
Yeah,
but when they're fighting the giant cube, especially the opening scene, you know, where you see Picard standing there in that thing, and then it just starts panning out.
Yeah,
and all those effects of like the inside of the cube, you know, it just keeps layering back and back.
Oh,
and
yeah,
coming out.
Yeah. I thought that was awesome. And it really kind of gave you perspective.
And that opening scene where that drill's going into his eye.
Oh yeah,
I was like, oh.
Blockbuster Entertainment Awards, 1997. They were nominated for Blockbuster Entertainment Award, Favorite Actor, Science Fiction, Patrick Stewart. Favorite Supporting Actor, Science Fiction, Jonathan Frakes. BMI Film and TV Awards, 1997. They won the BMI Film Music Award, Jerry Goldsmith. So
he's done a lot of music too.
It was a pretty good score.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but he took. We'll talk about it later. But like every time Worf would fight, he would go back and play some of the Klingon music from other movies.
Oh, nice.
That, you know, the battle music, or whatever that when he was fighting. So I thought that was pretty cool.
That is awesome. Hugo Awards, 1997. Nominated Hugo, Best Dramatic Presentation, Jonathan Frakes. Director, Brandon Braga, Ronald D. Moore for Story and Screenplay, and Rick Berman for Story. Image Awards, 1997. Nominated Image Award, Outstanding Supporting Actress in Motion Picture, Alfre Woodard.
You know who that was?
No.
That was the African-American lady that was with Picard.
That's
Lily,
right.
I think.
Yeah. So it's funny because it took me just a moment to because I'm familiar with the actress. I always just forget her name.
Right.
Because I was trying to explain to my wife. I'm like, oh, it has that actress that was in this, and this. And she's like, what? I'm like, just look. And she's like, oh, yeah, okay.
Just like, you moron.
More or less. And she's just amazing at like pinpointing actors, even like younger versions of themselves. She's like, and I'll argue, knowing full well she's always 100% right. And I'll be like, oh, hey, it's that. I'll sometimes get them mixed up and be like, that's so-and-so.
Right.
She's like, no, that's actually
same way,
so-and-so.
dude, but I'm not going to admit I'm wrong. You know what I mean?
And then so I'm like, hold on.
Yeah.
Just because I'm waiting for that one time I'm right.
And then it gets
pull up IMDb, and then I'm starting to flip through, and
then
I'm
it gets quiet. You know,
yeah.
and you're like,
I'm like,
she's like, what?
You're
Never
right.
mind. Yeah.
Your brother.
But she does a really good job in this movie, too.
She's just an amazing actress.
Fantastic.
I love seeing her in movies.
Right.
Where was I?
Get right here.
Thank you. All right. OFTA Awards. Okay. Online Film and Television Association 1997 winner of the OFTA Film Award. Best Sci-Fi Fantasy Horror Picture, Rick Berman. Best Sci-Fi Fantasy Horror Actor, Patrick Stewart. Best Sci-Fi Fantasy Horror Actress, Alex Krige. Best Makeup and Hairstyling, Michael Westmore, Scott Wheeler, and Jake Garber. And Leanne... Ooh, there we go. I knew I was going to get one of these.
All right, we got one.
Brittenham, there we go. tied to Rick Baker, David Leroy Anderson, Beth Miller, and Matt Rose for the Nutty Professor. Oh, wait.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying.
Oh, it tied. Okay,
they tied.
They
with
tied.
This lady tied.
That's an interesting.
There was a couple more movies
right?
too.
So that was for makeup and hairstyling,
right?
And they tied with
the Nutty Professor. There was a couple more I didn't list
okay.
for you, so.
It's an interesting contrast to movies. That's an interesting. You have Star Trek, and then you have the Nutty Professor that get tied
Hercules.
in the same category. All right, they were nominated for the OFTA Film Award, Best Actor, Brent Spiner, Best Sci-Fi Actress, Alfie Wardard,
Alfie.
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 I feel like that's the name I'll butcher today.
Right. One of the easier ones.
Best Production Design, Herman F. Zimmerman, Production Design, Ron Wilkerson, Art Design, John M. Dwyer, Set Direction, Best Sound Mixing, Steve Peterson, Tom Perry, Brad Sherman, and then we have Best Sound Effects Editing, Cameron Frankley, James Wolvington, Best Visual Effects, John Knoll, Adam Howard, George Murphy, and Scott Rader. Satellite Awards 1997, the last one. Nominated, Golden Satellite Award, Best Visual Effects, John Knoll. So there's a lot of awards both won and nominated for. So if they didn't win, they definitely took a bunch of nomination slots. So that's pretty awesome. So here's the synopsis of this movie. The Enterprise and its crew try to stop the half-robot Borg from sabotaging a rocket flight in 2063. 1963.
And one thing, we'll get to it. This movie was, before we get any further, this was the first movie that was Star Trek movie that was rated PG-13.
Really?
By the MPA.
Okay.
Yep. So I thought I'd go ahead and knock that out of the way while we're there.
What makes it PG-13?
You're talking 1996.
I guess. I mean, like, the only thing I can think of is
maybe the
alcohol sort of,
maybe the sexual
and then the
comments from Data that we'll get into.
Yeah.
You know, but so we'll go ahead and jump into the cast. If you've watched the TV show, you're gonna know most of these. There's a couple I threw in here that have cameos that are from other Star Trek TV series that you'll find out. So of course Patrick Stewart played Captain Picard. Jonathan Frakes played William Riker. Brent Spiner played Data, whichever floats your boat. LeVar Burton from Reading Rainbow played Geordi.
You know, that was another thing my wife caught on to. Like, she just heard his voice, and she's like, hey, that's the Reading Rainbow guy.
Michael Dorn played Worf. Gates McFadden played Dr. Beverly Crusher. Marina Sirtis played Deanna Troi, and I used to have the biggest crush on her when I was younger.
Is she the...
She's the counselor.
Okay, yeah.
The one that she gets drunk with the guy in the face. I'm not drunk. Alfre Woodard played Lily. James Cromwell played Zephram Cochrane, who is the one that is building he has to launch this warp drive so he can make first contact with the aliens that are coming by or whatever. But...
which I cool is later on you find out that
the original Zephram Cochrane, he was actually in season 2, episode 9 of the original Star Trek.
Oh, okay.
And he was played by Glenn Corbett, but he couldn't reprise his role because he died from lung cancer on January 16, 1993.
Oh, yeah. Hard coming back from that.
Once again, another actor that's died to cancer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I did find out that there was one person, this is like the only person I found that they wanted to play, and that was Tom Hanks.
That would have been interesting, huh?
Right. It's like Castaway on a foreign island, right?
Would have upped that budget, though.
Alice Krige played the Borg Queen. Michael Horton, he was a security officer. Nell McDonough played Lieutenant Hawk. Marnie McFell, Iger. Robert Picardo was the holographic doctor. You remember the doctor? He is actually the doctor in Star Trek Voyager.
Oh,
he's the doctor on the ship. He's That's funny. Hologram doctor on the ship. There's no... physical doctor.
Yeah. So,
and he's like, nobody ever shuts off my system, But he does say, I'm a doctor, not a doorstep. You know what I mean? When she's like, just distract him. That was a shout out back to the doctor from the original Bones, because he's just like, Jim, I'm a doctor. I'm not a zookeeper. You know, he'd just say some really weird off the wall stuff. And then you had Dwight Schultz, who played Lieutenant Barclay. Also making a guest appearance, Voyager's Neelix, as the maitre d' on the holographic nightclub scene. He was the cook in Star Trek Voyager. There was no original cast members from the original Star Trek in this movie. It was the first time ever that a movie did not have any of the original characters in it, except they said that the Enterprise computer was a regular in Nurse Chapel. You know what I mean? So she's had the voice for however long. Brandon Braga, who was one of the producers or directors or whatever, you know, a writer. Yeah. He makes an appearance in the nightclub scene.
Oh, okay.
Also, the stunt coordinator, Ronnie Rondell Jr., is also seen there. And there was a deleted scene that was filmed, but it was later deleted, that had Avery Brooks, who was Benjamin Sisko from Star Trek Deep Space Nine, where he was commenting with Worf, you know what I mean? Because Worf was in Deep Space Nine for a while. But it was deleted. So there is that. So I wanted it wouldn't be us if I didn't give a biography on one of the greatest, probably theater actors as well as regular actors.
Oh yeah,
whose work is just, he's so perfect, and that's Patrick Stewart.
Always loved him and his work.
Born July 13th, 1940. In Meyerfield, Yorkshire, England.
And he's aged very well.
Very well. His nicknames, Old Baldy and Beef Stew. I was like, where did they get Beef Stew from?
Where did Beef Stew come from?
He left school at the age of 15 to become a junior reporter for a local newspaper. He quit when his editor told him he was spending too much time at the theater and not enough working. Stewart spent a year as a furniture salesman, saving cash to attend drama school. He was accepted by Bristol Old Vic Theatre School in 1957. He made his professional debut in 1959 in the Repertory Theatre in Lincoln. He worked at the Manchester Library Theatre, and a tour around the world with the Old Vic Company followed in the early 1960s.
I gotta add, the fact that he was able to just go to a job and be like, yeah, I'm just gonna save up a bit for school and then go to school.
Right.
What a time that was.
Right. He was awarded Knight Bachelor of the Order of the British Empire in the 2010 Queen's New Year's Honors List for his services to drama.
That's awesome.
So that'd be Sir Patrick Knight, right? Or Patrick Stewart.
Oh, yeah.
During the first season of Star Trek The Next Generation in 1987, he was so convinced that he was going to be fired from the series that he did not unpack his bags for 6 weeks.
Oh, wow.
I was like, wow. I mean, you have a little faith.
Was he that unhappy with his own work, I guess?
I don't know. I mean, I guess he was just worried. I guess it's something new, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
You didn't really know. In episodes of Star Trek The Next Generation in 1987, when he got up, he had a habit of tugging on the uniform where it was creased. Jonathan Frakes jokingly called this the Picard maneuver, and the name stuck.
That's funny because you see, there's a couple scenes where you see Riker do that too.
Right,
like he'll adjust his
and I think he does that as a jab too.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. He's a huge fan of Doctor Who from 1963 and Red Dwarf in 1988. Had the first line of both Star Trek The Next Generation in 1987 and Star Trek Deep Space Nine in 1993, and the last line on the former. He is best friends with Ian McKellen.
That's awesome.
That is really cool. So I guess that whole Magneto versus Xavier.
You ever seen an interview with them?
Together? Yeah.
They're
hilarious.
Amazing together.
They're hilarious.
They are absolutely hilarious.
He once said the still suit that he wore in the sci-fi epic Dune from 1984 was the most uncomfortable costume he has ever worn.
I'm curious how the new Dune's going to turn out.
Yeah. He's a self-confessed fan. Huge fan of Reba McEntire. He was considered for the role of Dr. Victor Freeze, Mr. Freeze, in Batman and Robin in 1997, which went to Arnold Schwarzenegger. He was considered for the role of Willy Wonka in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory in 2005, which went to Johnny Depp. Can you imagine him playing Willy Wonka? That would have been funny.
Oh, man.
I'd like to see him in a more comedic role. You know what I mean?
I am curious how he'd be, because he's always in like sort of a stoic role,
right?
You know what I mean?
He's always like a
yeah.
He has always lamented the fact that he was never tapped for a role in the Harry Potter movie series.
And he should have, to be honest.
He should have been. He was offered the role of Jafar in the Disney comedy Aladdin in 1992, which he had to turn down due to scheduling conflicts with Star Trek The Next Generation. That would have been good, too.
That would have been great.
And here's some quotes, and I have, like, let's see, 4 of them or so, 5. I was brought up in a very poor and very violent household. I spent much of my childhood being afraid.
Oh, wow.
So, I didn't look into that. That's what he said. You know what I mean? So
I mean, the takeaway is you can at least see that as
that you can bounce back.
Yeah, absolutely. He turned his life around, and look at him now.
Right.
So,
the 3 things that I am most proud of doing in my life is, firstly, extras in 2005. Secondly, my appearance on The Simpsons in 1989, and thirdly, appearing on Sesame Street in 1969.
I remember that.
No, you weren't even born yet. I don't think you were born for any of this, were you?
I had a bunch of Sesame Street, like when I was a
DVDs
kid.
or whatever?
VHS.
Oh,
but a bunch of VHS tapes of Sesame Street that I just like watch over and over, and that was one of them.
It would irritate my father so much because he was a military man, and both my brothers did military service, and I didn't. That I walked around New York and I hear, "Hey, Captain, how are you?" So his father was like, "Oh,
that's great."
On whether or not he is a typecast by audiences as Jean-Luc Picard, I think perhaps when I first walk in front of the camera, they'll say, "Aha, there, yeah, Jean-Luc, we recognize him despite that charming little mustache." I believe that audiences are really smart enough to let go of that pretty quickly, but that's also my job as an actor to persuade them that, Jean-Luc Picard is left behind, and this is someone entirely different. I mean, I'm an actor dedicated to transforming myself and to creating original pieces of work, and I will not accept that my life is going to be forever connected to Jean-Luc Picard in the roles that I play. On the other hand, I'm absolutely delighted that he's still in my life. Actually, I think my appearance in The Simpsons and an appearance that I did on Sesame Street in praise of the letter B were perhaps the 2 most distinguishing bits of work that I've done in the United States.
That's awesome.
So, and you know what's funny? Here in 2 months, he's coming out with another Picard series. You know what I mean?
Right?
So take
right
that, Jean-Luc. Yeah, I was like, never mind, you are Jean-Luc Picard. And I found some salaries. This is interesting. So, in Wild Geese 2 from 1985, he was paid £2,000.
All right.
Yeah, attaboy. Star Trek The Next Generation for 1987, he was paid $100,000 per episode.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Star Trek First Contact for this movie, he made $5 million. Star Trek Insurrection, which came in 1998 that we were talking about earlier, $9,500. And then Star Trek Nemesis in 2002, $14 million. So They at least paid the man, once he started getting up there. So now let's talk to my favorite stuff, the good stuff. But what a fantastic actor. I mean, he will always be Jean-Luc to me, and they could not have cast a more perfect Professor X.
Oh, yeah. Now, he would, he was perfect for that.
Perfect.
Because, I mean, you even look at, the comics, the cartoon, and then you're like, it's Patrick Stewart. Like, he already fit the look of the role, and then he played the role and he nailed it. And that was part of what drove a lot of people in the early X-Men series, was him playing Professor X.
Right. So, as we talked earlier, this is a sequel, but it's also a prequel. Yeah. It's got some time traveling in it, so you was like, well, is it a sequel or prequel? It's actually both, you know what I mean? The premise of this movie is that they have to get this, the Borg has basically, they follow the Borg and they're like, hey, it's Earth, but it's all Borg, they've assimilated all of them.
So they're fighting the Borg, and then they blow up the main ship, but then they kind of pour it off of this like escape shuttle orb sphere, and then that starts and then it's trying to run away, and then it opens up a wormhole or something, and then some science jumbo mumbo. and
he's like, we got to follow him through. We got to stop.
Yeah, because they get a glimpse of the changed future, and then they're like, it's Earth, and they're like, do a reading on Earth, and it's like, oh, it's these gases and stuff. And what's the population? Like 9 million.
All dead.
No, it was like 9 billion.
Yeah.
It was 9 billion, all Borg.
Right.
And they're like, oh, so the reason why we still have our memories of our timeline more or less is because we're in this temporal time space, and like so it's just like keep following them. We got to undo whatever they're gonna do.
That was so fantastic. You know, because you're thinking, if their Borg's already assimilated all, exactly. Your mind starts, you start scratching. You're like, where is this going to go?
What's great about this scene is like they encapsulated so much information in so little time, just to be like, future's changed. Okay, we got to change it. All right, let's chase them. Done.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting. The first scene ever shot was the Picard nightmare. Or the first scene, the Picard nightmare where he shows him the cube or whatever, and then it shows him drilling his eye or whatever, is the last one ever shot.
Oh, okay.
And I thought it was cool that they start off by that nightmare sequence. He wakes up, and he's wiping his face or whatever. The next thing it's like a second nightmare. That thing pops out on his face, and you're like, oh, here we go.
Wakes up.
Yeah. So, but that scene, the nightmare was influenced by Total Recall. Total Recall influenced it. So. Let's see, where do we want to go now? Let's talk a little bit about. Let's hit this real quick. Whoopi Goldberg was not asked to return as Guinan, a character with a long-standing enmity with the Borg, as shown in previously Trek projects. She only learned about this decision through the newspapers. She said, "What can I say? I wanted to do it because I don't think you could do anything but the Borg about the Borg without my character. But apparently you can, so they don't need me." So. And you probably wouldn't understand.
I saw her, but I don't understand her character or her connection. Yeah, it's cool seeing her, but
I mean, I've seen her. I can't really remember exactly what she does.
Okay,
but if I remember right, she can like predict or see the future.
All I know is that she, her race had previously been assimilated by the Borg, and like there was only like a handful of survivors, and they bounced back. And that was her whole thing, was like, have hope. Even if like worst comes to worst, it's very possible for the human race to bounce back.
Right. And also Jonathan Frakes, the one that directed this, he said for his inspiration for filming this, he viewed Alien from 1979, Aliens from 1986, Close Encounters of the Third Kind from 1977, Blade Runner from 1982, and Jaws from 1975.
I can see a lot of those influences.
Yep.
In the show itself.
The
movie,
Geordi, he lobbied for his, if you've probably seen it in the TV show, the 2 episodes, Geordi's visor.
Yeah, I noticed.
He lobbied for this to be replaced so people could actually see his eyes. And they gave it to him in this movie.
Okay.
Which was really cool because you remember that one time Cochrane was running away. He's like,
and then you can see his eyes do the whole thing. I thought that was really cool. Because at first when I started watching the movie, I'm like, where does visor go? But then they start doing the cool thing with the eyes. I'm like, you know what? I like him without his visor.
Oh, yeah. Another funny scene I thought was, Geordi's down there on the planet with him, and he's talking to him. He's like, "Yeah, they erect a statue of you, and I went to Zephyrin Cochrane High School or whatever." And then the guy's like, "They made a statue of him." He's like, "I got to take a leak." And Geordi's like, "What?"
He's like,
everything's He's like, "There's no leak," and he's like, "Don't you guys ever pee?" And Geordi's like, "Pee." Oh, I get it. Which was a direct a thing to Star Trek because toilets were never shown in the series. So that was even hilarious because that's why he said, "Don't you ever take a pee?" Because they never showed the toilets in the series. So I thought that was pretty good. One of the things is Data when he's talking to the Borg Queen. Okay.
Oh yeah.
And she's like, she's asking him, well, don't you feel, and he's like, are you talking about sexually, He's like, actually, it was a reference to his season 1, episode 3, The Naked Now, where he has a moment with Tasha Yar because he's like 8 years ago, I haven't used it in 8 years. So that was a direct reference back to that episode.
I even know some techniques. And I was like, wait, what is going on?
Yeah. And every time we talked about Worf, that the music would go. There is a couple of moments in this movie that fans of the show will be like, whoa. Like, the first one was when Riker tells Worf where they say, I would probably have to use phasers. Remember to rotate your phasers or whatever. And Riker leans over to Worf and he's like, "You remember how to use one?" You know what I mean? And people that know the series will get that. I've seen a lot of them. But the one that got me is when Picard. It's almost like he was breaking character because
if you've ever watched the series, he was always cool-headed for most of the time.
Yeah.
And it's like he could hear the Borg. You know what I mean? He hears them. He has nightmares, and he can hear them in his mind. And when he tells Worf and he says, "You're a coward," or whatever, and because he's like, I don't think we should blow the ship up, Captain. He's like, I'm gonna basically have to put my what he say? He said, I got to put my veto on blowing the ship up. I forgot what he says. He's like, noted, but we're going to do it anyway. He's like, you're a coward. And Worf goes, if you were any other man, I would kill you right now. And I was like, whew. So that's how much respect he had for the captain. And I think Worf knew that deep down what he was going through, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But also, something else, as I was saying, and remember when Lily's asking Crusher, the doctor, the lady with the red hair, and she's like, oh yeah, well, he's made up his mind, we're going to do it. But see, in the TV show, she was more of trying to talk him out of it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was kind of weird, I thought. But man, that was a great scene. Worf, Data, Dr. Crusher, and Riker all said that this was their favorite film that they had made far as Star Trek. You know what I mean? Let's talk about the Borg for just a second. Go ahead and jump into the Borg because they are that's
main antagonist.
They are my favorite. Besides Q, I don't know if you know who Q is.
No idea.
Well, yeah, you watch Star Trek's Episode 1, Next Generation 1 and 2. I think you'll find out who he is. He's a pretty cool dude. But the Borg are probably my favorite besides Q. But something that was interesting is the Borg. It wasn't just humans on their ship. They had the Cardassians, they had Klingons, they had the Bolians. You know, they had some humans because when they started taking over the ships, the controls. Remember, Picard's like, "Hey, you're going to run into some of the people that you used to work next to that are human, that are your Federation brothers sisters." He's like, "But trust me, shoot them, help them out, do them a favor."
Yeah, and you actually see that later when a guy's starting to get assimilated.
He's like, "Help me!"
He's like, "Help me!" And then he just straight up
shoots him. And I was like, "Whoa!"
The mercy kill there.
The Borg Queen. The costume she wore was too tight. It was causing blisters on her. And the contacts that she wore, she could only keep them in 4 minutes at a time because of the pain.
Yeah.
And, you know, that silver paint that they had on her. Man.
Well, it's interesting. This isn't the only time that I've myself have heard an issue with contacts in movies. It seems like just throughout film, there's always issues with
We talked about one not too long ago, if I remember right. It's on the tip of my tongue. I can't remember what one we talked about where they had to put where the contacts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's gone right now. But the Borg Queen was actually created because they were having difficulties coming up with the Borg central computer system. You know what I mean? So they created the character of the Borg Queen to be the main one.
The main part of the hive mind.
The Borg suits, they were reused for the Star Trek TV show Voyager. So they recycled them. The Borg, you know, their eyepieces.
Yeah.
They flashed Morse code of names of the people that were associated with the movie or whatever. You know, they would flash them.
That's cool.
You know, the actors or whatever. They were the eyepieces of them. They were also made from Star Wars TIE fighters from Kenner Products. So that's actually the TIE fighter. Yeah, I thought it was hilarious.
All the Star Wars ships were, you know, small models, and they recycled those pieces.
Right. I think that was funny.
Yeah.
The Borg actors actually lost weight due to the heat on the set in Los Angeles that they had to keep touching up the makeup and the costumes. And they lost so much weight, you know what I mean, inside those things. But they looked cool. I mean.
Oh, yeah.
But you would think something like that, you know, it was in Los Angeles. You think there would be air conditioning or something in there, you know what I mean?
A lot of times, no. And it's not just, like, even if it was on an inside, you know, set, if you ever been on a movie set, it's a lot of the lighting that adds to the heat. So even if you are in a cooled area, those lights add so much heat. So when you have all your set lights that are, you know, controlling all the lighting of the scene and stuff, and there's just so much heat coming off of those that even if it is cool, you're still sweating because those things just get so hot.
Right. Man, I love the Borg. I just think they look cool. The ship that Worf was on, the USS Defiant, its sole purpose, the reason it was built was to fight the Borg.
Really?
But this is the only time that it actually fights them. You know what I mean? Because, I mean, you see it.
And it doesn't do so well.
And if I remember, now I could be wrong, but I think in the new Star Trek Discovery, the very last episode of Season 1, you see the Defiant again.
Oh, okay.
I'm not going to spoil it, but let's just say you'll see it again. It may not be in functioning order, but
so they in part of the movie when they're I believe it's the movie and not the 2 episodes. I watched it all in sequence, so like sometimes they get them mixed up already. But when they're flying by and they see all the blown up ships, and then they name like 3 or 4 ships, I was wondering if those had any significance, like in the series.
Well, see, you got to remember it's set 6 years afterwards.
Okay.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I will tell you this, and I showed you the video that the Millennium Falcon from Star Wars is fighting the Borg cube. I mean, it's in the background and I showed Terrence. He's like, "What?" Yeah, I was like, "Look, it's the Millennium Falcon." He's like, "Whoa!" So you can see it if you go on YouTube and just put Millennium Falcon in Star Trek First Contact, you will see it.
Yep.
And I was like, "That's pretty cool." And the guy was trying to play around with different, like creating his own ships and everything.
Designs to like try to make it make sense.
So.
And it was what was the it's because the special effects Industrial Light and Magic also did stuff and had 3D models from doing Star Wars.
Right.
The remastered versions, they had all the 3D renders for that, and so they were able to make little fun appearances like that into this movie.
The writers of Star Trek Enterprise in 2001, which was after Voyager, the other series, planned to address the backstory of the Borg Queen in its 5th season. However, the series was canceled before they got to it.
Man.
So I was like, wow. When Lily points out the Borg sphere just before these attacks, Cochran thinks she's pointing out the constellation Leo. One of the stars that make up Leo is Wolf 359, which was the site of a massive massacre of Federation ships by the Borg, as mentioned in Season 4, Episode 1, which might be what you're talking about. Yep. And the best of was and dramatized in the Star Trek Deep Space Nine 1993 pilot Emissary. So that might be where you were getting your... the program menu in the Holocaust, or the Holocaust, wow, my bad. The Holosuit, you remember where they go to the computer in the Holosuit, there you go. Depicts various holodeck programs from previous episodes of Star Trek The Next Generation. Specifically, Café des Artistes is from Star Trek The Next Generation, Will Always Have Paris in 1988. Charnock's comedy Cabaret is from Star Trek The Next Generation, The Outrageous Okona in 1988. The Big Goodbye is from Star Trek The Next Generation, The Big Goodbye in 1988. Star Trek The Next Generation, Manhunt 1989. And Star Trek The Next Generation, Clues in 1991. Emerald Walding Pool is from Star Trek The Next Generation, Conundrum 1992, and Equestrian Adventure is from Star Trek The Next Generation, Pen Pals 1989. So they had all those lists on
they had the whole list of things, which I paused and read, and I'm like, this means nothing to me. But I guess if I had watched the series...
And you still might not even know. I mean, you probably could put a little bit together.
And it's I thought that was interesting, that holodeck scene in general. So I didn't know about the holodeck. Or like, I knew about it, but I didn't know about it because where I used to work back in California was this company called Entertainment Earth, and all their offices were named after different rooms on the Enterprise. So one of the meeting rooms was the holodeck. They're like, okay, everybody meet on the holodeck, and they're gonna have a meeting there. So that was pretty cool.
And one of the last things we'll talk about is 2 things.
Yeah.
One is. The reference where Lily, she tells Picard that he's acting like Ahab, and he's like Moby Dick, and she starts going in there and about how he chased his whole life looking for revenge, and that's a pivotal part of this movie.
Absolutely.
And he gets mad and he throws that thing and breaks his ships.
Yeah. You broke your little ships.
Yeah, you broke your ships, and then he starts thinking about it. He starts quoting, which
Moby
he quotes
Dick,
wrong. You'll find out. But she's like, I've never even seen it. I was like, whoa, right. But you could see if you've ever read Moby Dick or seen the movie, you can tell the comparisons. To this movie to that, right?
Which I thought was really awesome.
Really good.
When she mentioned just the name alone, I was like,
right,
yeah.
And the last thing is the Vulcan who Cochrane salutes, according to canon, is Solkar,
which is Spock's grandfather.
Oh, okay.
So that was pretty cool. So you got to see Spock's grandfather back in, that's the one.
2063 or something.
Right, yeah. And then, if you remember, Cochran couldn't do the...
he
can't do the Vulcan...
He couldn't do the Vulcan hello
Vulcan greeting,
whatever,
right.
Yeah.
But that was a direct joke back because Captain Kirk can never do it either. So they put that in there. I thought that was pretty good.
That's funny.
So there you have it. That is Star Trek First Contact. Terrence, what do you think of this movie?
I thought it was great, especially, like I said before, prefacing with the 2 episodes. Having never watched anything from any of the original Star Trek series, the only thing I've seen are the 2 new movies. So this was more or less my introduction into Star Trek, particularly in Patrick Stewart's run as Captain, as Captain Jean-Luc Picard. I highly enjoyed it, and this actually this has enabled me to watch. I'm going to start watching Generations now.
And all the Trekkies, you can hear them screaming across the road. Finally!
So, I really enjoyed it, especially now because I definitely have more of an appreciation for sci-fi than I did when I was younger. Like, I liked sci-fi when I was a kid, but it was more like I just liked flashy ship fights and explosions kind of thing. You know what I mean? It's typical kid stuff. But now that I have like an appreciation for more of the details of sci-fi and stuff, watching this now, really enjoyed it. I liked the how they went about the story. It was very good writing. The effects were great, even for '96. The costuming was amazing. And that's especially when you get into older sci-fi, that can always be something that you have to look past sometimes, is like, that costuming, or like, ooh, that CGI. But no, this is nothing felt hard to look at.
Right. It held up pretty good.
It did. Like, you can definitely tell it's older, but it still holds up well.
And I think the story captivated you too.
Absolutely, yeah. This whole, and then just to see in just the small span of the 2 episodes in the movie that I watched, I could tell that Picard was a very level-headed captain. So to see him make that change because he's going against these Borg that had captured him and assimilated him, and then he broke free of that. But now he's, coming against him again, and then having that drastic change because of this second encounter. I saw the significance in that.
I guess we should talk about, just for a second before I give my opinion, is a couple things that we left out. Data plays a vital role in this because he gets captured. And that Borg Queen grafts human skin on us, and and he has this emotion chip that he got implanted. I think it was in Generations, the movie before, and she the scene where she just leans down and she blows on him, and his hair stands up. You know what I mean? He's like, "It's my program." He's like, "I'm adapting to become more human every day." You know what I mean? And then Jean-Luc tells Alfred, he's like, "I'm not going with you." He's like, "These people gave everything, their lives for me when I was one of them." He's like, "I'm not leaving anybody behind, and there's still somebody on this ship that I need to save."
Yep.
And he was going back for
Data.
And that is like the climax of the movie. So he knows, he's walking down there, and he meets the Queen, and they go through all this thing. And at this time, they have put in the self-destruct code. They all like 6 of them, that they're all putting in their stuff. And then, he sees Data, and she's like, "Oh, Picard." He's like, "You wanted me to be the human face, or whatever." And she's like, "Oh, I've already found somebody probably better than you."
Yeah.
And Data's like, she's like, "Data, deactivate the self-destruct thing." And he's like, "Is like self-deactivate?" And he's like, "Data, no." And he's like, "Data, fire the missiles or torpedoes at whatever." And he's like, "Data," and he's over there begging him, "Data, no." It's like, next thing you know, you see the torpedoes fire out, and
that was a super intense moment.
Yeah, and Terrence was talking to me. He's like, they shot the things. He's like, "Oh no, why they gonna jump to warp? Why are they gonna do it?" Because he's like, "Man," but if Data, he precisely calculated where it would miss him.
Yep.
And that's where the Queen realizes, "Oh, I didn't get through Data." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Very good moment of the movie.
And another thing that I found, and this is just a kind of a nod to just sci-fi in general, but and it also shows the human aspect of Data, and that's because of this whole deceit that he put over the Borg Queen's eyes, and like lying to her through that whole entire deceit. That's a very human trait. Like androids, by nature, don't lie. So for him to lie shows sort of his
that he's evolving and more
absolutely
human.
Yeah, he's absolutely more human because lying isn't robots don't lie. So then, him, and that's just in like sort of like sci-fi in general. That's usually a base concept for androids, robots is, sophisticated AIs is they don't lie. So seeing him do that, I thought was
and so why don't you go and tell the audience what happens to the Queen?
Oh yeah, she gets melted, and then,
yeah, but how? What do they do?
What was that? The core? It was like a vat for a core that he breaks open.
The warp core or whatever.
Yeah.
But do you remember what he did to her? Remember he snapped her third vertebrae or whatever?
Oh, yeah. So, like, he picks up her, like, robot skull, still connected to, like, the robot vertebrae, and then he just snaps the vertebrae.
Yeah, the third vertebrae. There's something...
Fatality.
Achievement unlocked. So, for me, growing up watching Star Trek, this movie is one that it came out the year I graduated high school. Okay, I graduated in May of '96. This is taking place in November, so I remember going to watch this at the theater. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, this is it. You know what I mean? You're like, oh, this is fantastic. Because back then that you didn't have stuff at the tip of your fingertips to automatically download it or be spoiled. You couldn't. That was just towards the beginning of the AOL phase. Of,
10 minutes later, you'd finally be on your first webpage.
Then if somebody picks up the phone while you're done there, you're like, oh, we got to start all over. So, love it. I love this movie.
I would imagine this would be a great movie to see in theater.
It was.
I honestly, any sci-fi movie is amazing in theater.
Right.
It's just the genre that always does so well, or always it's a pleasurable viewing experience to see it on the big screen.
Right. So yeah, definitely give this one a watch. I'm not saying that I'm a Trekkie. I enjoy the Star Treks, the ones that I watch.
Yeah.
I get a little confused sometimes when they start like Star Trek date 7749.
Yeah, I was like,
I need a star chart here because I'm not really sure where we're going. But yes, that's definitely a fantastic movie. Thank you, Patricia, for recommending this. It was probably my favorite Star Trek movie.
Yeah,
them new ones are fantastic too, though.
I enjoyed the new ones.
They're really good too.
Which
Chris
was
Pine
just my first ever thing.
And that guy nails Spock. That guy plays Spock perfectly.
Yeah, he's a great actor.
Yes, he is.
First time I saw him was in Heroes. When he plays one of the main antagonists.
Right, that was a great show too.
And then seeing him as Spock, I was like, oh yeah, he's going to nail this role. Given, like, even not ever watching Star Trek is such a huge thing that you still know sort of the character the personalities connected with these characters. So even without knowing ever watching anything about it, I already knew that Spock and Vulcans in general are a very calculated race that are very stoic, I guess you could say, as in they don't really show emotions that much at all, and when they do, it's a very rare occurrence. So like Spock showing Kirk.
All right, Terrence, Star Wars or Star Trek?
I mean, for me, it's still Star
I know
Wars.
because right, me too, but Star Trek, you
There's
get
a fun little nod, though.
You get those people that say, "Oh, I'm a Star Wars person," or "I'm a Star Trek person."
Honestly,
what's wrong with being both?
Exactly. I was going to say,
I enjoy
honestly, sitting down and watching this, knowing I'm going to watch the series, I definitely say both. Now, as far as how much content there is, there's so
much more Star Trek.
It's more accessible, to be honest. Like, I can go on like Hulu or Netflix and watch. I can binge watch almost all the Star Trek stuff. Where a lot of Star Wars extended stuff is either not canon or it's in books.
or it's coming to Disney Plus,
or it's coming
like
to
in
Disney
November,
Plus.
like The Mandalorian. It's going to be
Mandalorian, that's
fantastic.
gonna be
But I think I'm going to go ahead and throw in the interview right here with Patricia. Man, we've already hit an hour. So this is when I did the interview. This was the first interview I ever did for the podcast.
Oh, okay.
She was getting ready to have her baby. She's had her baby since then, little Eva.
Congratulations,
right.
even though it's late.
Related. We wish we could have got this out before him. But since this was the first interview I ever did, and she is our international listener from Australia, I started asking questions.
Our first international listener, right?
Yeah. From Australia, I started asking questions about Australia. I wanted to know, is there stuff that they do over there that we may as Americans not know about? She got me. You'll hear she pulled a trick on me with the drop bears, so I had to get her back in there. But at the beginning of the interview, don't be alarmed because as we were setting up and I hit record, her little son Mark got on there and he's like 2. So we just started taking a conversation. We talked about Batman and how he seen Nana and Papa or Grandpa, So hang with it. The interview get as adorable as Mark is, we actually do get to Patricia eventually. And we talk about stuff. We talk about her work and how she takes the stuff to work and listens to it. She names off her work friends, shouts them out, and just a real good time. So take a listen to this. All right, welcome to the Tragedy of Cinema. We got a special guest all the way from Australia.
I saw Nana.
And that's little Mark. Hi, Mark.
Yep. You going to say hello to James? Hi, James. I saw Nana.
You saw Nana?
Yep.
Uh-oh.
Yep, he saw Nana.
Hey, I seen you when you got your Thomas the Train and you beat it with a hammer.
And Daddy's a hammer's not head.
You hammered Thomas the Train?
Yeah, you did, didn't you? You hammered Thomas the Tank Engine and the big chocolate.
They told you to take a bite, and you took the bigger piece.
He got his brains from his mother, right? I had my granddad last week. You saw Granddad last week, didn't you?
Hey, Mark.
I saw Granddad.
Hey, Mark, is Thomas the Train your favorite?
Yes, because I had saw Batman.
You like Batman too?
I saw Batman, so
I like Superman. You like Superman?
Yeah. You have a Superman t-shirt, don't you? Yeah. Okay, off you go.
Uh-oh. Bye, Mark.
Bye, Mark.
So, that's not really our special guest. Our special guest is actually his mother, Patricia Macaulay, all the way from Australia. How are you doing tonight, Patricia? Well, I guess it's what, afternoon over there on Sunday? Or Sunday morning?
It's mid-morning over here, and I'm doing very well, thank you.
All right. So, you've been listening to the podcast pretty much since day one. You share it at work. We'll get into that in a little bit. But first of all, let's find out where exactly in Australia are you at?
So I am Sydney, Australia. It's a beautiful Sydney.
So is that kind of like when Nemo goes P-152 Sherman or whatever and he goes to Sydney? Did you ever see Finding Nemo? Oh, no, you probably didn't.
Finding Nemo is almost on a loop in our house.
I love Finding Nemo. So
it's yes, it's a bit like that.
So
we're not quite Darling Harbour, but
right.
Yes. Yeah.
I thought it was funny the other day when you was like, just look at this, and I was like, what, an outhouse? And you're like, it's a dunny. And I was like, what's a dunny? She was like, an outhouse? Oh yeah, that's another name for it. I was like, yeah, we have those here. We call them portalettes, outlet or outhouses. So
yeah. It wasn't so much the outhouse that I was expecting you to have a look at. I just wanted to introduce you to the word dunny.
Yeah,
I thought you'd appreciate that one.
That was pretty cool. So I think we'll talk about a little bit about Australia before we go into some of the other stuff. So you know me, I've made a little comments on the podcast and everything. So I wrote down some questions that I want you to tell us something that like Australia is known for that most Americans or other countries do not know that you're famous for, or that is only seen over there by you guys.
Yeah, so I saw that question, completely glazed over it. But I would probably go with drop bears. Have you ever heard of a drop bear?
A drop bear?
Yeah, drop bear.
Is that like a koala bear?
It's a lot like a koala.
Is it?
Koalas aren't actually related to bears.
Do you have a lot of koalas over there?
We do, but not in the area I live in.
I heard they were starting to become extinct.
They are endangered at the moment, yes.
That's terrible. Okay, so what's this drop bear?
A drop bear, it's a lot like a koala, but you have to be really careful because they've got very sharp claws and they'll jump on you from trees.
What?
And they attack.
What?
Yeah. You've got to be really careful.
Have you guys ever been attacked by one?
I'm totally screwing with you. We don't have drop bears.
Oh. Well, we have bears that drop their doo-doo in the woods. You know, if you step on that, you're going to be stinking. So what you say, drop bears is totally made up?
Yeah, drop bears are totally made up.
Oh, boy, I hope your coworkers have some stuff on you because I'm going to get with them. Okay, so is there anything that, that I know you said you guys don't have Netflix, you have some sort of Australian streaming service, right?
Oh, yeah, we've got Netflix.
Okay.
Hubby and I just don't subscribe to any of them because we, on average, we get to the cinemas about once every 3 years.
Wow. So what was the
to
last movie you went to see?
At the cinema?
Yeah. Was it something with Mark? Did you take him to go see a cartoon or something? Toy Story or something?
No, we haven't taken Mark to the movies yet. He doesn't have the attention span for it.
Yeah, he must get that from his mom too.
Yeah, I think he does.
Okay, so here's another common Are kangaroos everywhere over there? Like, are they at your back door? Are they like dogs? Are they everywhere, or just in the select wild like koala bears, or what?
So there are wallabies and that around where we are. You don't see them all the time, but I'm actually in an area with a little bit of bush around. So, yeah, I nearly hit a wallaby the other day, actually, in the car. So you got to keep an eye out.
Okay.
So, yes, you do see them.
And I've also seen some things that the spiders are really, really big over there. Like, they're on, like, the whole side of the house. Are they really that big over there?
I reckon spiders are on steroids over here.
Yeah. Have you ever? Yeah. Do you have them around your house or anything, or no?
Of course. The spiders are everywhere.
We don't have spiders here in Indiana. They're almost extinct.
Oh.
I'm kidding.
Good.
See?
Good
you don't have drop bears, we don't have spiders. So. Okay, now here's a question everybody wants to know.
We don't have spiders when you get the exterminator in.
Right. All right, so here's another one. Do you guys have Outback Steakhouse over there?
Not in my area, no.
I mean, do you know what that is?
Not a clue.
Okay, Outback Steakhouse.
I assume it's a restaurant.
It's a restaurant here in the States that is famous for their Australian food. It's called Outback Steakhouse. And they have stuff like shrimp on the Barbie, you know how I was saying all that stuff?
Oh, don't call it that.
What am I going to call it?
We call them prawns.
Prawns. Okay, yeah, I know what those are.
Yeah.
Do you like them?
Yeah. The vast majority of people over here call them prawns.
Prawns. Okay. So put another prawn on the Barbie. Is that what you say?
Absolutely.
All right. Here's another question. Do you guys? How is the movie Crocodile Dundee perceived over there? Do you know what Crocodile Dundee is?
Yes, I've seen Crocodile Dundee. I think I can only speak for myself. Right. And the people that I know that have seen it. But it's a good flick.
You like it though, huh?
I think, yeah, absolutely. I think Hollywood have taken some liberties with it.
Right.
But to be fair, there's a lot of good stuff in that movie.
That's why I wanted to make sure like there wasn't, where they take something and spin it so much that the Australian people hate it. You know what I mean?
Oh, look, I think it's like most movies. If you sit down and you look at it with a view for enjoyment, then you're going to enjoy it. Right. There are things where you sort of scratch your head and go, okay, that might have been a little bit OTT, but otherwise it's all good.
Does Mark have a boomerang?
No, Mark has a stick.
I remember that. If you guys don't know what we're talking about, when
we was talking before, and I was saying, she told me this joke like, what do you call a boomerang that doesn't come back? A stick. And I just thought that was the funniest joke in the world. It's hilarious. Another famous person, I guess, from over that way is Steve Irwin, the crocodile hunter. And I loved Steve Irwin. Does he have any animal sanctuaries or anything over there close to you?
Yeah, I believe he's got two. He's got one up on the Central Coast and one up in Queensland, I think. And I'm only going from memory. From what I know, I haven't actually been to them myself, but they're beautiful sanctuaries.
And is his family still doing a lot of stuff over there? I seen his daughter just got engaged on her 21st birthday, but I didn't know if his son's really involved. He comes on like the Tonight Show over here in Hollywood and all that, brings some animals and all that. But I didn't know if they were still prominent in the communities over there or anything.
They are, and I think Bindi actually just took a. I can't remember if she took first place in Dancing with the Stars Australia in the last season. So they are active and they're prominent in the community. Nice.
All right, now let's get into your. The reason we're doing this interview is because you wanted to pick a topic, a movie, and you chose Star Trek: First Contact. Is there a reason?
That I did.
Is that a reason you chose Star Trek: First Contact?
Yes, because I asked you to review a movie I'd actually seen.
Yeah, you're like, I don't know what any of these movies are. For those of you that don't know, I've known Patricia and her husband Steve for, 2 or 3 years now. We play the same cell phone game. And so I just threw it on the chat in our guild or whatever. And so she's like, I'll listen. So then she started listening. She's like, these are a bunch of movies I haven't seen. I was like, well, that's why I'm doing this podcast, so you will see. But out of all the movies that you could have chosen, you chose Star Trek: First Contact. Does it have a special meaning to you or anything?
So I grew up with my dad on the couch watching Star Trek movies, watching the Star Trek series. So naturally, when I got asked to pick a genre, Star Trek was up there.
Okay. Do you have a favorite Star Trek character?
I honestly like. Well, it depends which series we're talking about. But I do like Captain Picard.
Okay, give me like your top 5. If you were going to build your Enterprise crew, and you could choose a captain, a first officer, an engineer, a doctor, who would you take?
Oh, that's a rough question.
Well,
across all of them?
Across all of them.
Okay, well, you'd have to have Spock as your first officer.
Okay, good choice. Are you still taking Picard as your captain?
Absolutely.
Because I love.
Let's mix genres here.
Right, I loved Captain Janeway.
Janeway's awesome.
Okay, so we have Picard and Spock. So who's going to be your engineer?
Who would be my engineer? Well, I know you can't go past Scotty. You can't go past Scotty.
B'Elanna Torres was pretty good too in Voyager.
Oh, she absolutely is. Look, they're all great in their own way.
Would you take Data or Data?
No, he wasn't on my top 5 list.
Wow. Oh, who was your favorite doctor?
Do you know? Most of my top 5 list are going to come from the original.
So you're going to take Bones?
I'm going to take Bones.
I always kind of like the hologram doctor. I always thought he was funny. Or
yes,
Bashir from
he'd be
Deep
my
Space
second.
Nine.
Yeah, no. He'd be my second pick.
Who? The hologram?
Yeah, the hologram.
All right. So here's something we were going to have fun with. I was like, you told me that, I listened to it at work, and there was somebody that just kept leaning back further and further because other people were talking, and because he couldn't hear because they were talking so loud. I'm assuming that was Julian?
Yes, that was Julian.
Hi, Julian.
Shout out to the guys at work.
And girls.
And girls.
Because there's Jessica and Varshini, right?
Yes.
Okay. Is that the only 3? Right. Is there anybody else you want to shout out?
I could list them all, but I will.
Let's throw them out here. That way, when
Okay,
you're by the way, she is about to have her second child, so her water could break while we're doing this interview, and she would have to go real quick. But go ahead, let's hear them. Are these people that actually listen to the podcast, or just people in your office?
So some of these guys do listen to the podcast, and awesome. some of them are a little bit too far away. So just for everybody listening, what I usually do is I take a little speaker into work, and I put some music on quietly. But what I've been doing when there's been a new podcast, I might put the podcast on.
That's so awesome. Do you have told them that they can download it to their own phones while you're away, right?
I have.
Or are you going to have to go up there once a week and just make sure that they're doing it?
I don't have to go up there. I can just email them all.
Okay, so go ahead and give me your list of the people. I know Julian, Jessica, and Varshini.
Yep, okay. So I also want to do a shout out to Belinda, Grace, Nicole, Tara.
Hang on, I'm writing all these down. Belinda, Grace. You say Tara? Tara?
Yep.
Okay.
Tara.
There was one in there I missed. Nicole? Was that her name?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Keep going.
And we'll also say hi to Meg, Kieran, and Mila.
Meg, Kieran, and Mila?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. See, these are...
And, of course, the lovely lady who will be taking my position at work, Wendy.
Wendy. Welcome aboard, Wendy.
She deserves a special mention.
Oh, yeah. She's going to get it. I'll make sure she gets on the next episode, too. All right, so we were going to have a little fun with this. There's a lot more people here than I thought, so let's just go ahead and do this. If you're the captain of your Starship Enterprise, and we'll say Julian, Jessica, and Varshini for sure, because those are the ones I know, where would you place them on the ship and why?
Okay, so of those three people, I would have Julian. He would be my first officer.
All right. Is there a reason?
Because he's calm and level-headed, and he's the voice of reason.
So wouldn't he kind of be like Deanna Troi?
He. I don't think I'd want Julian as my counselor, but absolutely first officer.
Okay. Well, hey, Julian, better work on that. All right, so where's Jessica going to be?
Jessica would be science linguistics.
Science linguistics. Look at you. All right. Yep. And Varshini?
And Varshini would be my chief engineer.
Chief engineer. She must be pretty good then. Does she solve problems pretty good?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Do you want to plug any of these other people on your ship?
Are
they just going to be all the red shirts that get sent away on missions that don't come back?
No red shirts on my ship, thank you.
Okay. I just want to make sure. All right, so let's go ahead and ask, if you were stranded on an island, what 3 movies would you like to have to watch for the rest of your life because you weren't going to get rescued?
Okay, so I would pick a Steven Seagal movie.
Which one?
I like Under Siege.
Oh, that's a good movie.
Yep. I'd probably go a chick flick, 10 Things I Hate About You.
Oh, no.
Yep.
All right.
And I would go, so I've got action adventure, I've got chick flick, and I'd possibly also pick Down Periscope.
Oh, the comedy.
Yep.
All right. Hey, before we get too further, did they film any of the Lord of the Rings over there? Do you know?
I cannot tell you. I could not tell you off the top of my head. I thought they filmed it in New Zealand.
Well, they did, but I just didn't know. I wanted to make sure. Okay. So I'd
have to look into that.
So who would you say is your favorite actor and your favorite actress?
So my favorite actor would be Patrick Stewart.
I loved him as Professor X in X-Men.
Absolutely.
Perfect cast.
Very versatile actor, I think. And funny to boot. Comedian as well.
Oh, yeah.
What more can you ask for?
Did you ever get to see that new trailer coming out? Did you find one that worked?
I did find one that worked.
What'd you think?
That trailer looked awesome.
Oh, yeah. It looks really good. And even old Data and 709 are in there.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm going to have to subscribe to Netflix or something just so I can watch that.
It's only going to be on that CBS All Access.
Ah, okay. I'll have to find a way to watch that.
They've got Star Trek Discovery on there right now. So I think it's 2 seasons and it's going to go to its 3rd season. So that was like a whole new TV show they did, but they only put it on that CBS All Access so they can generate income, I guess. But that's where Picard's going to be too.
Ah.
All right. So,
definitely be looking into that one.
So your favorite actress?
That one I find harder because, as I said, I don't watch a lot of movies.
I love Reese Witherspoon. Do you even know who Reese Witherspoon is? You don't, do you?
Hey, I'm not from the sticks. Thank you very much.
Oh, I thought you said the States. I was like, well, I know you're not from the States. But you said sticks, right?
Sticks.
You're from the bush. That's why you said we got bush around us. Okay, well, if you think of one, we can come back. I always like Nicole Kidman, too. I thought she does a good job. Okay. Do you like scary movies?
Yep. I don't like scary movies, actually. One of my earliest memories is from watching a scary movie, and don't ask me which one it was, I don't remember, but I couldn't sleep for a week, and since then I've stayed away from scary movies.
Do you know if it was like a slasher movie, or was it something different?
I think it was like Chucky or something like that, and I was very, very little.
You got to at least check a couple of them out. Okay, have you ever cried in a movie?
All the time.
Really? Is that just because you're pregnant, or did you cry before then?
No, I would cry before then. When I do sit down and watch movies, I get very invested in the characters in the movies, and I get very sad when they die.
So which ones have you cried in recently? Or what would you say is like a couple of the real tear jerkers? Like, did you see The Fault in Our Stars?
No, I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, you might want to stay away from that.
I did warn you. I'm not very widely versed with movies. You've been warned.
But the ones that always get me is the ones like Tom Hanks plays, like Forrest Gump or Saving Private Ryan. I just think when they do a war movie, that Saving Private Ryan, that opening scene, man, I got choked up in the movie theater just because they say that's exactly really how it happened. You know what I mean? And I just think that's crazy.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite TV show?
Do you know we don't turn the TV on much at all either.
That's good. But you just told me that Finding Nemo was on a running loop at your house.
Yes, well, okay. So we do turn YouTube on fairly often for the toddler on weekends. At which point, Blippy haunts my dreams. Blippy's voice haunts my dreams, and we see a lot of PJ Masks, and we get some Bob the Train.
Is it Bob the Train or Thomas the Train?
There's Thomas and there's Bob.
Who's Bob? I don't even know who this Bob is.
You don't know Bob the Train?
Is he part of the Thomas the Train?
No, he's not part of the Thomas series.
Oh, no.
Yep.
I'm glad
Bob the Train is educational.
Okay, I'm glad my kids are older. I don't have to listen to that because I had about enough of that purple dinosaur when they were growing up. Barney or whatever. Man, that's terrible.
Yep.
Well, I won't keep you. I know you got things to do, and it's probably right around, lunchtime over there?
Yes, it's nearly lunchtime over here.
All right, well, I won't keep you, but thanks for coming on, and maybe we can do it again in the future. I'll see if
thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'll see if anybody has any questions. If they'd like you to come back on about Australia, whatever. Are you part of the Facebook group?
Of course I am.
Okay, well, I've never seen you on there, so I don't know. So if anybody has any questions for Patricia and Australia, we can put them on the Facebook group. And if you'd like to see her come back, I think she'd be like a good international reviewer once she actually has time to watch movies. But when she's getting ready to have another baby, I don't know how much time she'll have at all. So, all right. Well,
hopefully there'll be some there.
Somewhere.
Hopefully there'll be some time after the baby to be able to watch the occasional movie.
I
might even be able to catch up on some of the podcasts.
I'm really doubting it because I think your hands are going to be full.
Yes, that's right. There's always hope, right?
Right. Well, we all hope that you have a successful delivery and
thank you.
Recover very well and get back on feet. How long are you going to be out of work?
I'm probably going to take about 9 months off.
9 months?
9 months.
Wow.
Yes.
That is awesome.
Yep. So my first child, Marcus, does not sleep. He was up pretty much like clockwork every 3 hours, if not more often. And I went back to work a bit earlier than I had anticipated. I went back to work when he was not quite 5 months old.
Wow. So you figure you just need a little bit more time with this one?
I think I'd probably just have a little bit more time with this one. I
did
put in the request for a healthy, sleepy one.
How do you think Marcus is going to handle being a big brother? You think he's going to be jealous?
He's going to be an amazing big brother, and he's going to be very jealous.
Yeah.
But aren't most older siblings jealous, at least to start with?
Oh, yeah.
So
mine still carries on this day. I still don't like my sister. No, I'm kidding.
So it's not even just to start with, it's just forever.
Right. So, well, I'll tell Steve and Marcus I said, hey, and maybe next time Steve can join in with us. We'll do one of Steve's favorite movies. And I know he wants to do Ben-Hur, right? Ain't that what he said? He was doing going with it. He's like, don't do Ben-Hur. It's like the longest movie of all time. All right, well, I won't keep you.
I think Steve's hanging out for a Star Wars review.
Oh, hey, that's coming. We were trying to wait until we hit maybe 25 or 50 or 100th episode because it's going to be so massive. It's going to be broke down, and that's just for the first episode. Star Wars, the first one, the episode 4. But that's like my favorite movie, and I know all kinds of crazy stuff. So hang on for that one.
Yeah, and Star Wars is such a massive empire that you need to pay it justice, don't you?
Oh, it will be justice. Now let me ask you a question. Are you more of a Star Wars or Star Trek fan?
Oh, I'm definitely a Trekkie.
You're more of a Trekkie?
Hubby's Star Wars, but I'm the Trekkie.
Oh, well, yeah, we'll definitely have to have your husband on then because we don't want no Trekkies in here when we're talking about Star Wars. All right, well, I won't keep you. I know you're busy, and I know Marcus is probably hungry. But thanks for coming on, and tell all your friends at work. Oh, I guess you're done with work. You don't have to go back, do you?
I've got 2 more days this week, and then I will be off.
So you're saying I should try to get this recorded before you leave so you can play it at the last day you're there?
I think the guys at work would love that. But I don't want to put you under that kind of pressure.
That's all right. Terrence couldn't be here, so I'll talk to Terrence and see what he says. Maybe we can get that done real quick. We're going to be doing The Godfather on the next recording for Mr. Samuel Farrell. So We'll definitely get that. We'll try to get that done right after that and get it out probably the same day if we can.
Yep.
All right. Awesome. Well, you take care, and I'll talk at you later.
Okay. Catch you later.
Bye.
See you.
All right, so there was the interview with Patricia. Like I said, fantastic interview. She's a great lady. Her whole family's great. Actually, all of our listeners are great. You know what I mean? But I just love the accents. You know what I mean? the Australian accent. You know what I mean? I love it. Love them. So thanks, Patricia. If you have a pick you would like us to do, I know like Lori's and my sister are harping on Titanic. We'll get there. We're getting there.
That'll be one.
Yeah. I don't think there'll be any room on the door for us, Jack. Right. So we're working our way through. I know. I think Patrick wants us to do Indiana Jones. So that'll be another one that I want Patrick to be here for. He lives right up the road. So
yeah.
Well, I say up the road, but down the street, 40 minutes, whatever. Kyle still wants to come back on. I got a guy named Joe that I work with that wants to do the Terminator.
Yep.
So we've got a lot of stuff coming. We're trying to do more and more content now that Terrence is finally back in full swing, feeling better. He looks better, like death warmed over. But we're back. So if you want to leave us a review on iTunes, that is just search The Tragedy of Cinema on iTunes.
Yep.
There's 5-star review, and we will read it on the air.
That helps us get more exposure, thus us, creating more content and hopefully grabbing some more Patreon, which we do have a Patreon. So
we do.
Tragedy of Cinema at Patreon.
And we might be throwing something else out there here in a little bit. We're throwing around something. But we have settled on our first watch along for the Patreons on the special secret. There's a Facebook group for us called the Tragedy of Cinema Podcast Group if you want to join. Also, we have a special Facebook group for the super secret double Patreon. Those that are in there. We have discovered what our first watch along is going to be, and the people have voted, and they decided on Die Hard. So I just watched that movie the other day. I'm getting ready to watch it with Terrence here in a little bit, maybe today, maybe sometime this week for sure. And you're going to hear us talk about Die Hard with no sound. So we're going to tell you hit play on your DVD player, and away we go. So you can join Patreon for as little as $1 a month. We know we want to put a lot more out there for Patreon than what we have. So, and I'm still trying to work through some of the logistics of that.
Yeah.
So if you want to send us an email, if you have a question, like you send to thetragedycinema@gmail.com, you can hit me up on Facebook Messenger, like we did last episode or the episode before about the green screen from Shane McGill. So just thanks for listening. Thanks for Patricia for this episode. It was fun. Terrence, actually, you introduced Terrence to Star Trek. So,
yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So now he's only got like.
I have a start because we were talking about this before we started recording, and that's it's always something that I've been meaning to get into. That being Star Trek, but there's so much and it's so daunting that I never knew where to start. And just because I really enjoyed the 2 episodes I watched in the movie, I'm going to go ahead and start with Generations and then give that a watch through.
Next Generation.
Next Generation. Yeah, Next Generation.
Right. So, yeah, and then a lot of people like Deep Space Nine, which is the one right after that, because, like Worf and some other people like Chief O'Brien and stuff are over there from
So who's the captain on Deep Space Nine?
Deep Space Nine is actually a central space station that is guarding a wormhole that time travels through.
Oh, okay.
Or not time travels, but
warp. Okay,
right, to a different like Delta Quadrant or whatever.
Gotcha.
And then Voyager, which came after that, was my favorite, where it has the female captain,
gotcha.
Captain Janeway. So, all right, well, thanks for listening. I think we're going to go ahead and close this one down, and that's a wrap. And cut.